Hello friends, welcome back to SQL with Manoj. Today I'm going to talk about the group by clause. In my previous videos I talked about the select statement and the where clause. You can check the links here. Okay, so let's talk what exactly is a group by clause first of all. So group by clause is an optional clause that goes with the select statement and it can be used to summarize the data. It basically summarizes the identical rows into single groups and returns a single row with the summary of each group. Okay, and how you can summarize the data? You can summarize the data by using some aggregate functions. Aggregate functions like count, sum, minimum, maximum, and average. Okay, so these are the 5 aggregate functions that SQL gives you to summarize the data, and by using these functions you can use the group by clause and you can summarize the data. By this way you will get a summary of the data, how your data exactly looks like, and you can do analytics on top of that, right? So the group by clause works on the rows returned by the select query, right? And this is the select query that will look like select star from the table name. Okay, and this is a where clause, that is optional clause, right? So if you don't have this where clause, your group by clause can directly start here, right? Like select a star from, then group by, if you don't want to filter the records. But if, let's say, if you want to filter the records, a where clause is necessary, right? Like this. And after the where clause, your group by clause can resume, and with the column list, right? Now let's see how exactly this group by clause works. Let's see a hands-on example. I'll take you to SSMS. Okay, here I have this table employee populated with some data, right? And this data I have populated from AdventureWorks database. So this is the AdventureWorks database that I've used, and this is the employee table that I've populated. Okay, and the data looks like this. We have employee ID, the first name, last name, middle name, date of birth, marital status, gender, job title, hire date, department name, and the salary. Okay, now let's see how we can use different aggregate functions and how we can use this group by clause. Okay, so first I'll go with the count aggregate function. Okay, so I just so let's say I want the total number of records. I just want to get a count of total number of records, okay, in my employee table. How can I do that? So it's very simple. It will be select count star from the db.employee table. Okay, on executing this statement you will get there are 290 records, and you can also get the count of 290 records over here. You can see at the corner, at the bottom corner, 290 rows are there. Same count you can get with the select count star from table employee, right? Now let's say I'll go again back to this table. Now let's say I want count of employees according to departments, right? I want the count of employees in each department. So how can I do that, right? So it's very simple. You just have to apply the department name here, department name, comma, count star from employee, group by, and the same column name, department name, right? So this will, what it will do is it will give you select this column department name and the count of each department. And how it will get the count? It will get the count by this group by. So what it will do is it will group all the departments into one row. So now here, like you are seeing engineering, you are seeing 5 rows. So instead of 5 rows, it will give you one row as engineering, and it will give you a count of 5. So in this whole record set there may be engineering many times repeated, like, so it will give you the count of engineering wherever it is repeated, right? So let me execute this statement and we'll see, right? So it shows that in my engineering department there are 7 employees, right? And you can see in other departments, in production department we have 179 employees. Okay, now let's say I want to get the count of employees with respect to the gender, right? If I execute this statement, select star from employee, I have gender male and female working. I just want to see how many male employees are working and how many female employees are working here, right? So it's very simple. Like I had department here, so similar way I'll have the gender column here, gender count star from employee, group by gender. It's very simple. It will give you the count of, it will give you only 2 rows because there is, the gender is only male and female. So it will give you 2 rows and it will give you 84 number of females and 206 number of males are working in this particular company, right? Now let's say I just want to extend this. I just want to see in every department, how many employees works according to the gender, right? So I just want to extend this. Let's say I want I want in engineering department how many I want in engineering department how many females work and how many males work. So how I will do that? I will have the department name as it is here. What I'll do is I'll add a gender column over here. Okay, and in the group by statement I'll repeat the gender. So let's say if I don't do that, I'll get an error, right? So if I execute this statement, I'll get the error as column employee.gender column is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. So I have to add this gender column over here in the group by clause, and it will give me the details, the summary of the department and gender wise, right? So this is coming haywire. So let me just give a order by clause. Order by, I'll repeat these, right? So it will order all of these things and put together the engineering female and male employees, right? Execute C. So I have total 7 employees in my engineering, and if I again I expand this into gender, so 3 females and 4 males work in engineering department, right? It's very simple to use the group by clause. Okay, now let's go back to the select statement. Right here we saw here we have the hire date. Okay, now let's say I want to know how many employees were hired each year. Every year how many employees were hired, right? So what I can do is I can fire this query select. I can use the year function to get the year from the hire date. Okay, and I can have the count star. Okay, I'll give the column name as hire year count from dbo dot employee. Okay, group by. Okay, now what will I group by? If I group by hire date, let's say what happens if I group by the hire date, right? So I'll just get 11111, right? Because it will group by exactly the hire date, not by the year. Okay, so if I have to group by with the year, so and get the stats of how many employees were hired every year, so I have to do this. The same column that I'm having here has to be present in the group by clause. If it is a calculated column, the same calculated column should be present in the group by clause, right? So let me execute this, and if I get very few rows, right? And you can see here, let me order by this. Okay, and let's see, sorry, order by count descending. In order by count descending means it will give me the maximum number above. Okay, so the maximum number of employees were hired in 2009, then 2008, and very few employees were hired in these years. Okay, so this is how this count aggregate function works, and there can be many more examples. Okay, and there can be many more scenarios you can use this count aggregate function. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how the min, how the max, and how the avg average aggregate function works. Okay, let's say I have the same query. Okay, I'll copy this query over here so that I have to refer it every time. Okay, so I have executed this query. Okay, and let's say I want to know the minimum salary, the maximum salary, and the average salary across all employees. What can I do, right? So it's very simple, right? You just have to give minimum of salary, maximum of salary, and avg average of salary, right? So here we don't need to use the group by function because we are not grouping these columns by any other column, right? So I don't have any column like the department name or something, the job title or gender, right? So I am using all aggregate functions. So when I'm using only aggregate functions, I don't need to use the group by clause, right? So let's execute it. Okay, so it gives me the minimum salary. Okay, let me just alias it also, because it is showing you as no column name across. So this is min salary, this is as max salary, and this is as avg salary. Okay, now executing like this, it will alias the column as like this, and the minimum salary drawn was $3,561. Maximum salary is $7,985, and the average salary across the organization is $5,700. Okay, so let's see again what we can do, how we can expand this. Let me see. I want to see the salary, this kind of distribution across departments, right? So how can I do that? I can use the same query, right? And let me group the salaries by department name. So I'll have to use the department name column. Department name column, in the same column I have to use at the group by clause, right? So you have to remember, if you are only using the aggregate functions, the group by clause is not needed. But if you are using any other column apart from these aggregate columns on which you want to do the grouping, that grouping column should be present in the group by clause, right? So now what it will give me is, it will give me the aggregates across departments, right? For each department it will give me like this, right? So you can see here, department control has a minimum salary of this, maximum salary of this, and an average salary of this. Okay, you can even add the count over here, right? So let me add a count, right? So on the first query you can have a count, right? So there were 290 number of records, right? Here also you can get the count, right? So here I want to see like minimum salary, maximum salary, and the average salary is there. So if I want to see the count, like the way count I gave here, department name, right? It gave me the number of departments. So a similar way, let me execute this and show you. It showed me that document control department has 5 employees, right? Similar way, I can add the count aggregate function over here, and I'll get the count. Same department control 5, I'll get the same count over here, department control 5. So you can use as many as aggregate functions over here, right? And the similar way you will get the grouping and the summary of all these records. Now let me execute the query again, and now apart from department, if I want to see the salary according to the job title, I want to see like department is okay, right? By checking the salary department wise, it will not give me any more insight. But to get the more insight, like what kind of job title gets what kind of salary, it's more meaningful, right? So rather than using department name, I'll use the job title column. Okay, and the same job title column will go here, right? So it will give you according to job title all these things, right? So here it says that accountant gets a salary, minimum salary, it's a highly paid, right? So it gets $7,041 minimum salary, and the maximum salary is 7,949, right? And if I want to see the maximum and minimum salary, so I can do an order by min salary. Okay, and let me do a descending order. So the maximum of the minimum salary I'll get at the top, right? So here the maintenance supervisor, right? So there is only one post for these titles, so there is only one person in across the company. So you are saying minimum salary is equal to the maximum salary and the average salary, all these columns are same, right? Because there is only one person working here and they are highly paid, right? Then you can see marketing assistant, three people are there working, and the minimum salary is this, maximum salary is this, right? And if I go at the bottom, the least earner, the people who are getting least salary, so 22 production technicians are there, the code is WC20. They are getting a salary of $3,561, and the minimum and this is the minimum salary, and the maximum salary is $7,869. The average comes out 5682, right? So this is how you can generate analytics, and you can generate the summary from your table and get the meaningful insight, right? Now, people are more interested on at the gender level, right? At the gender level. Okay, so I'll just copy this and let's see what is the distribution across gender. Okay, so I have this gender, and the same thing, the same column I have to provide it here. Okay, group by. So this will give me the minimum salary, maximum salary, average salary, and the count of people, right? Male or female, right? So here, so as you can see here, females get a minimum salary of this and the maximum salary of this. Males get the minimum salary, it's a bit higher, right? So males get a bit better minimum salary and a better maximum salary also. And but if you see the record counts are also few. Only few females work here and more males work here. And but if you see the average, right, average is totally different, right? Here the minimum salary and maximum salary are lesser than the male counterparts, but if you see the average salary is higher side. So females are getting $5,872 and the males are getting $5,630, right? So in some cases males are getting more salary, but in the most of the cases females are getting more salary, right? Now we can have, this one more column. There's one more column, that's marital status, right? So let's see married people and single people, what is the salary distribution across those. Marital status, I'll copy this over here also, right? So let's see. Okay, so here the married people get a good minimum salary compared to single people, and here maximum salary is bit lower, right? $20 less, and the average salary is more compared to the single, right? And the count is also a bit more, right? 146 people are married and 144 people are single here, right? So it's very interesting, right? By using these minimum, maximum, average and count, you are getting all these insights. So if I execute just this plain select star from employee table, this won't give you any analytics. This won't give you any meaningful information. Although the whole 290 records are in front of you, but you won't be able to make out what is the information, what is the knowledge base behind these records, right? But with these kind of functions, aggregate functions, this gives of you a very meaningful information. And HR person, this is the very classical case, right? In gender, there in a lot of companies there are gender discrimination, and HR can really work by checking these stats, like why females are getting bit lower salary, right, on the minimum side and maximum side, but on same side you can see, right, average salary is a bit higher from the male counterparts. So HR can basically work on these stats. So this was all about minimum, maximum, average and the count. This is the count that we saw earlier also. Okay, and now let's move to the last one, that is sum. Okay, so let me again copy the select star from table, right? Okay, now let's say if a company wants to know how much the company is spending by giving salaries, so how they can analyze it. So at the record level, the company has the salary of each and every person, but if they want to club the whole salary and they want to get the budget for the whole company, so they can use the sum aggregate function with the salary. Okay, and they can easily get the insight, right? So they want this much of money to distribute the salary for their people. Okay, and let's say they want the aggregates based upon the department, right? So they want to allocate budget for department. How they can do that? Department name, right? The same department name will go at the group by clause. Okay, and here you go, right? So this is the budget that they have to think about, right? So for engineering department they have to allocate this much budget, for production department they have to allocate this much budget. You can even order by the budget by having this last column, sum of salary, and DESC means descending order. right? The by default the order is ascending, so I have to provide DESC for descending, right? So the highest budget that will take is the production and sales, and then the finance, and the least budget is for these executives tools design at the bottom ones, right? So this is how a company will get inside by this simple query, and by using the sum aggregate function, that okay, every year they have to have a budget of this particular amount, so they have to generate this um, the revenue more than this particular amount, so that they can give salary to their employees. And by getting revenue more than this, how they can distribute the salaries to the departments, they can run this query, and they can distribute the money according to the departments, and by this kind of budgeting. One more interesting thing that I just think of is, let us extend this query, okay? And what we can do is we can aggregate this based upon department name and gender name. So we can see, in gender, we can see, in every department, what is the distribution of salary looks like, right? So females take how much salary and males take how much salary. So this is how it looks like. So in production department, right? So production department was the most expensive department here, right? But we have bifurcated this into two, male and female, right? So the production department, you can see here, male takes this much salary, females take this much. And in the sales department, there are only male. Okay, so I have to order it by department name also, right? Otherwise, you can see these two sales are coming here, so it will all go here otherwise. So let me just execute this, right? So like this, document control, engineering, right? And executive department only has males, right? And tools design. So the salary is bifurcated like here, like males take this amount of salary and females take this amount of salary, right? So this is very good insight. Now what you can also do is, like the way we had min, max, average salary count, what we can do is we can even extend these queries. I'll just, what I'll do is I'll just copy these queries, okay? And you can even have the sum, right? So this will give you the count, okay? How many gender, how many males and females are working, and what salary they are taking in the whole company, right? And if I add it here, sum salary, so it will give you by department, name and gender, so that we already saw. So this is, we can skip, right, because it won't be a useful insight. I'll copy these ones, right? Minimum salary, maximum salary. You can even club this minimum salary, maximum salary, average, and the sum of the salary, right? Like let's copy this job title, right? So I'll show you, like the way we added count, you can even add the sum of salary, right? So this will give you insight like this, right? So like marketing assistant, so minimum salary is this, maximum is this, average is this. There are three people, and for these three people, for marketing assistant, you need to have budget of this, so that you can distribute the salaries, right? And what else we can see, even the marital status, right? For marital status, you can also add sum of salary. If you just want to get the count and the sum, so it will give you this particular analysis. For married people, normally it won't serve any purpose, but let's just, for our example, for married people, you have minimum salary, maximum salary, average, the count of people, and this huge sum of money married people takes, and this huge sum of money single people take, okay? So this is all about the group by clause. I think you would have liked it very much, and the kind of examples we went through, they were like really real-time examples that a particular company can think about and use, right? And especially the HR department and the finance department, they can really get really good insight by using these aggregate functions, and by using this group by clause, right? So this is it for today. In my next video, I'll be talking about the having clause, okay, how we can use the having clause on top of this group by clause. So please stay tuned. Please like the video if you really like it, and please subscribe. By subscribing the videos, you'll get to know the latest videos that I put on. And thank you very much. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day. Thank you.